rock classic radio is here to stay. Too many people have been brought up on it at this point. I've had people come to me on rock classic radio and say 3 or 4 of the first songs they did was, the first one they did was Rockin' Me Baby by Steve Miller, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and a few other ones, and Bad to the Bone, because they wanted to get the ones that people could really, jump on immediately. We got in on FM just before it closed its doors, because it was from 67 to about 77. It was like the counterculture radio, and they had a thing that started out, it was called album-oriented radio, AOR, which was our thing, no high-profile hit, but an entire album in its entirety. And so we hit FM radio just as it was stopping. But then we got in on the ground floor of MTV when that was just starting. And then we hit rock classic radio in its infancy. Once that got established, then we hit the House of Blueses when they were from the ground floor up, literally just starting. So we've been at the right spot, just at the right time. This was a Capitol Records project. They more or less, I don't say they came to us, but our manager was talking over ideas that we might do after we put out the album Dirty Dozen, and they came up with this idea, a concept of making all chess classics or whatever, and we had to go through the catalog quite a bit to find 13 songs that I could play. That's not as easy as people may think, and capture the right ones and all, get the right producer, Tom Hambridge, and all that. So he was a good guy to have. And there was one song there I used to do in high school, in a 2120 South Michigan Avenue. I was in a high school band, and we used to do that. We did it at the Battle of the Bands. We didn't win, but here to tell you, baby, that I'm bad to the bone, bad to the bone. The highest level profile act I ever worked with in 2 blues festivals, one we did in Australia and one in Maryland, was Bo Diddley. Yeah, we worked with Bo, and it's a funny thing because I got him into the trailer, and we were talking, and I'm thinking, I said, Bo, I don't know why they asked me to play at these blues festivals. I said, I can't play blues, and he goes, neither can I. But what they wanted to do was get rock people who had blues connections, blues roots, blues foundation, blues past, to bring more people into the show. I've bumped into Jeff Beck, and I've bumped into Chris Christopherson. Like anybody else, I'm like a lower classman as far as those people go. If you know what I'm saying, they're like they were like the guys in high school, and then it was people ahead of them in college, and then it was the people who had graduated, and I'm like the last kid, trailing. I went to the school just before they closed it. So whenever I meet any of these people and they make a fuss over me, it blows my mind. I come from Delaware. It's not exactly the most high-profile state in the country, if you know, and very conservative place as well. So just for us to get out of there and to be in this business and to have just even acknowledgement of our existence, let alone respect of what we've done. But I've been in that spot where someone will turn around and say, well, George, you're bad on slide, and I'll say, you're Eric Clapton. How can you ask me such a question? I don't think it's anything I'm ever going to really get used to. We will go out for 30 days at a time, take a small break, and hit market to market to market. The major rock acts usually put out an album and tour for a year, but they only play on weekends. And big arenas like Aerosmith and people like that. But we go to every market, usually that a classic rock radio station is playing. Builds up to about 75, 80 dates a year, which is enough. But it's a lot easier now. The venues are better, the PAs are better, our equipment's better, we have more songs. It's mighty tough to do a whole show when you have one song, bourbon, scotch, and beer, and you gotta... Well, see, that's where rock classic radio took over and helped out by playing Who Do You Love and playing Move It On Over and playing Bad to the Bone, and stretched us out a little bit, you know. So it's a lot more rewarding now. And every time I go on a road and tour, on a tour, I'll go to a different station, and they'll say, "Will you do a interview or on the phone, do a liner?" And I said, "What's a liner?" Our call letters are 109.3 Rock Classic Radio, or Classic Rock Radio, the best in classic rock. I go, everybody's saying it's dead, but they've been saying it's dead for 5 years. If you got something going on radio, you're not dead.